welcome to the Oracle of Lilith. My name is Amy, and it's so good to have you. I hope you guys are doing well. Today, I'm going to be discussing altars, altar work, and how I will be using altars in the future on my channel. So I just want to let you guys know I really appreciate you being here. If this is your first time to my channel, hi, hello, how are you? It's so good to have you. I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel and becoming a member of my tribe. If you're a returning subscriber, hey guys, what's up? How are you? It's always good to connect with your energy, and I truly appreciate you guys being here. But before we get into the video, first, a message from today's sponsor, Energy Mindfulness. So today's sponsor is Energy Mindfulness. I want to thank Energy Mindfulness for reaching out to me to offer me this altar in exchange for an honest review, and that's exactly what you're going to get. Okay, so when it was sent to me, it came very timely. It was sent through Amazon. The product is on Amazon. I will drop a link below if you want to take a look at it. It took a bit for me to unwrap it. It's heavy. It's very well packed. Nothing was broken. So as I opened the package, I saw there was a nice little note for me, which I appreciate so much. It was really wonderful. And I noticed that the drawer pulls are crystal. You may have to tighten them when you first get them, but it's really a beautiful touch to this altar. The altar opens up kind of like a jewelry box, and then the sides fold out to reveal a pretty good size altar platform. Now here's the altar cloth. I don't use a lot of altar cloths. I do use like cloths across my table, but not specifically altar cloths. But I'm sure I will find a use for this. It's really beautiful and well made as well. And here I go. I'm going to start smudging the altar. I highly encourage you to smudge items when they come into your house of any just, stuff that can be carried on your furniture and stuff like that. And here again, you can see the altar cloth. It's very well made. I was really impressed with it. It's very well made. So I'm going to smudge that as well. You're going to see me smudging all these objects because that is a practice that I do. And I think that it's a good practice when you bring in new items, especially items for your spiritual work, your altar, etc. And the bottom drawer comes out. The top drawer comes out as well, but all the products were in the bottom drawer. You can see 2 candles, a bag. There's crystals in there and some sage spray. So I'm going to show you the candles. This is the first candle, and they have a eucalyptus smell, and I believe they're soy candles. What I really love about this is that after you burn one of these down, it's a jar, you guys. You can keep stuff in it. Can't have enough jars in my life or candles, so yeah, so you get 2 of those. Here is the next one. Yeah, just like it, 2. And I'm going to smudge that one. Smudge, 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 smudge. Because you never know. Now I'm smudging with dragon's blood, but use what you're guided to use. Okay, that could be sage, it could be Palo Santo, it could be lemongrass, just whatever is meaningful for you. Now this is a little bag you get. It's great for groceries and things like that. I don't often use sage in general. However, I received a piece of furniture from someone and I saged it with the spray, and I found it really did lift the energies and densities around that piece of furniture. So with this altar starter kit, you receive chakra healing crystals. You get clear crystal quartz, you get amethyst, lapis lazuli, green aventurine, citrine, Himalayan salt, and red jasper. Now, these crystals didn't have a lot of energy for me, but this is an altar starter kit. I also have kind of a weird or intense relationship with my crystals. I get very attached to them, and I put a lot of energy into them myself. So I would call these starter crystals, and just know that you're probably going to want to buy some other crystals. I like to go hand pick my crystals if I can, but I haven't been able to do that lately. So, but yeah, you do get these crystals. They are helpful. They do have energy. I just didn't feel a lot of energy from them, but I appreciate that they're there as part of this beautiful starter kit. So, I think this is a great way to get set up. I think this altar is good for people who maybe have had an altar, maybe a temporary altar, or they have to put, you know, their altar stuff away at times. It's great because you have these drawers. You can pop everything in the drawer, fold it up, and put it in your closet. It isn't light, it is a heavy altar piece, so just keep that in mind. But I highly recommend you guys give this a look. They do offer payments on this particular piece through Affirm over on Amazon. The altar is $144. From what I have read, they are going to be making an altar without the crystals, so you can look for that as well. And I just want to give a big thank you and a moment of gratitude to Energy Mindfulness for this opportunity to review this beautiful altar. So now let's move on into our video. So let's talk about altars. All right. I wanted to make this video because I'm going to be posting altar videos that each one of them will have particular energies and particular intentions. I know a lot of people can't have altars at home, or they're not able to create the altars they want, and I hope to offer that to the community as a way that we can connect with those energies and enjoy mutual reverence at the same time. So anyway, I will be beginning to post those in the next few weeks, and I wanted to have this discussion on altars. I've also been asked about altars, specifically altars to Lilith, okay? And that the specifics of Lilith I'm going to save for another video. This is going to be a general discussion of altars, how I use altars. Now, how different traditions use altars are very specific to their tradition. Okay, so you will need to look more deeply into that. Like if you're a Buddhist, you know, you can listen to this video, but also, you know, research Buddhist altars. What's on a Buddhist altar? What does it mean? That kind of thing. For me, I'm a solitary. My beliefs are a little eclectic, I guess. So are my altars. And an altar can range from a sacred space that you sit in front of once a day or once a week, and you just kind of breathe in and out and experience, okay, to a meditative place where you go and you meditate and in discipline. They also can become points of power. They can be the home, if you will, of an entity, a deity, an energy, a frequency. They can also be a kind of a spiritual, artistic expression. They can be points of healing, points of manifestation. There are all kinds of intentions and possibilities with altars. Like, it really depends on what you intend to do with it. And I can tell you from my own experience with altars, my journey started with that sacred place. I just wanted a space in my house that was sacred. And this was many years ago, where when I looked at it, I would remember my spirit. I would remember my consciousness. Okay, that's where this all began for me with altar work. And it has morphed into points of power, points where, you know, a deity actually is, their frequency and their energy is there. It's their home, to artistic expressions of that deity, that energy. I have several personal altars, and then I have public altars. So, and some of them are for certain works, certain intentions. Some of them are for spell work. Some of them are for deity connection and magical space and that kind of thing. So, you go from a simple to complex use of altars here. So I'm not really going to go into, you know, you can have a bell on your altar. You can have all of the, I guess I am going to go into it a little bit. So you can have like all of the elements represented on your altar, water, a bowl of water, fire, earth, air can be a candle, or incense, that kind of thing. You can have your deity. If you are connected with a deity, you can dedicate the altar to that deity. And there are different ways to do that depending on your traditions, okay? So you have to go with where you're guided. Okay, for me, like flowers, I try to have fresh flowers on Lilith's altar specifically as often as possible. I live in the country, so it's hard for me to get flowers all the time. So, but you will often see, like in readings and things like that, you will see flowers, and often those are flowers that have been offered to Lilith. Okay, and I also keep these flowers, and as they dry, and they go into an herbal blend, if you will. Okay, so they're very special flowers. But for me, that's kind of an example of how my altars work. Okay, there are points of power. They are points of entry to the etheric. They can be really cool places to like expand your consciousness as well. The concept of altar to many people is very very focused. And I really would love for people to broaden their idea of what is an altar. What can you make of an altar? What can you put on an altar? If it's meaningful for you and in your consciousness, in your subconscious, it connects you to that thing that you're either trying to connect with, manifest, or what have you, then put it on your altar. I believe that everything on your altar space should have meaning to you. Think of your altar as a canvas and the objects that you put on it as paint. And you're the painter. And there may be, let's pick an energy. Let's pick love, okay? Let's just pick romantic love, okay? Love, lust, what have you. So I would put, say, these roses on an altar with a red cloth. I use color magic for passion, or pink cloth. I may have pink candles and red candles. If I have anything that's heart-shaped, I'll put that on the altar. I'll put this giant rose quartz on the altar. Many times I draw my own sigils. I often use things that are found in nature that would connect me to love, okay? Like if I had a bird's nest, a bird made that nest to have its babies. And in human consciousness and my consciousness, that's kind of like a love and nurturing energy. And that's something I want to have in love, right? The incense you burn on your altar. For love, you could burn rose incense, especially if you're using roses, or you can use dragon's blood for passion and things like that. You can use candle magic. You can use different kinds of herbs. I believe like lavender, or even cinnamon is good. Basil is good. Rosemary. Those things, a lot of people have those things in their house, and those few herbs that I just mentioned have multiple uses. So that's just an example, like how I would power my altar. Okay. And if it's to a deity, say you want to bring in deity work with your love work. So maybe you would bring in Aphrodite. Maybe you get a picture or a poster or a statue and put it on your altar. Okay. And before deity work, of course, you want to clear your altar and you want to do an altar dedication. And I really think that is like a personal thing, and you can find stuff like that over the internet, but that's not really what this video is about. I'm sure I'll get into that in another stage. Now, I think it's important that you use your altar and your intuition together. Allow your higher self to tell you, to guide you what your altar needs, okay? And sometimes your altars will change. Even the permanent ones will need to be like, the energy will need to be cleansed and fluffed, if you will. And I have found the more I clean an altar and rebuild it, the more connected I am, especially if the intention of the altar doesn't change. Because you can have an altar that's permanent and have it always and do the same things always. Or you can have altars that are temporary for a working, or for overcoming an obstacle, or for finding love, or whatever it is, for money. But money altars, I find the more permanent ones are the ones that bring a lot of energy. What I mean by permanent is maybe the place or the actual altar itself. You're always going to have one, okay? But you may want to, freshen up that altar, especially a wealth altar. It needs to be kind of zhuzhed and cleaned and fed, but that's another video. Okay, um, so how am I going to use altars on my channel? I'm going to create sacred spaces, spaces where you can just come and connect with energy and just be. That's it. And you can gaze at the altar, you can connect, I'll have music, of course, with it. You can kind of zone out and that be your sacred space. I'll have altars with particular points, like one of the ones that I'm going to make is with the intention of calling back power. So that would be the intention of that altar, and I would build everything around that intention. Everything, every piece would have meaning. And so I would record that, of course, put some music with it. It may be guided, it may be not guided. There may be parts of it that are guided, and I section it off. I'm not sure how that video is going to go, but that's an example of one of the altars I'll build. And these are public places. I consider them a public place, and something I can do for people who don't have access to altars, or maybe you're traveling and you just need to connect with an altar. You need to connect with, that zone of spiritual, I want to use the word spiritual abundance or spiritual connection, communion with the deeper aspects of self and the abundant self within. And that's really what we're talking about. There'll be healing altars. There'll be altars to Lilith. There'll be altars to other deities. And yeah, so that's really what I want to do. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation so you guys would kind of know what those videos are about. And I will in the future take requests for different kinds of altars you might want to see. Some of my altar work will be very simple like this, and some of it will be more complex. So I'm really excited to do this. I think it will be very rewarding for me personally to be able to open up my channel to this kind of expression. And I hope that those who connect with it find value in it as well. So if you guys have any questions about altars or altar work or really anything else that you want me to discuss, feel free to drop it below, all right? If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'd love to have you as a member of my tribe, and I'll see you beautiful magical creatures on the other side. Bye, guys.